We have a VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week, and this one is a new feature. It wasn't actually an extension, but it's part of VS Code 1.64 that was released not too long ago now. But it has all sorts of cool features in it. But one of them is what they call the file nesting. And so a lot of times in VS Code, you've got ways to like fold code inside of a file or whatnot, but this actually allows you to fold files into a subgroup in your side menus. For those watching, you'll see that it'll actually have a little group, for example, main.TypeScript, main.ts. What it allows you to do is configure it so anytime you have a file.ts, it'll actually group several of the related files together, and so you can actually collapse them in your menu. And so a lot of times you'll have things where maybe you have, let's say a user CFC with a user service and maybe a user gateway or user DAO. You could configure it to basically allow the user to be a subgroup, and when you click expand, it would show you all the related files based on that. And so you can configure it. This little blog post sort of gives more description on it, tells you how to go set the setting and how to set your little configuration. But it's kind of cool. You can just set up your own patterns, so we can use it for ColdFusion, even though the examples are different things. But it gives some examples for different developers. So this has got a good example for Angular developers, for example. But you'll see like in the little video, like the feature, you can actually group all your feature stuff together, and then it just shrinks them up. And so it's kind of neat. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a neat little tip. And again, that's not even an extension. That's just built straight into VS Code. It's just one of the configuration options. Change your settings and away you go. That made me start thinking about how we organize some of our code and our tests and everything else. I'm like, I wonder if we could tweak some of that, basically if you have the test file open as well as the normal file and it's named the right way, that we could have the collapsing automatically do that. And I was like, ooh, that'd be nice. You have your user file, your user service, and then the user test and the user service test, and with the right settings, we might be able to group them all together nicely. So I was like,
something to check out.
Yeah, so you got me thinking, because I saw something the other day about how people in some languages actually put their tests in the same file that they write their production code, and when they deploy it to production, it pulls the test and removes it from the compiled code. And I was like, sometimes you have code which is so separate, you've got 4 different folders you're working from, and so I was like, interesting, like this type of folding might solve some of those same dilemmas. So anyways, got me thinking. So that's your VS Code tip of the week.
I should have a little jingle for this tip of the week, Gavin.
Okay, well, just add a little more into the production here. We'll get polished, don't worry. That was our VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week, brought to you by Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, proudly sponsored by Order Solutions. You can see the new episodes every week on cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io or on the Order Solutions YouTube channel.